A very warm welcome to all our viewers. Welcome to the Sentinels Newsmakers. My guest today is Dr. Rathin Barman. He is the Joint Director, Wildlife Trust of India and the in charge of Center for Wildlife Rehabilitation and Conservation, Kaziranga. In fact, he is the man of the moment because, as you all are aware, at this point of time, more than 90% of the national park, the Kaziranga National Park, which is also a UNESCO heritage site, is underwater. More than 100 animals are dead already. We are going to discuss on our show today what are the steps which have been taken so far, how effective those steps have been, and what can be done, what needs to be done. Is it possible to find a permanent solution to the flooding issue of Kaziranga? And also, we will talk about if floods are really necessary, as many experts have been saying so. Dr. Burman, welcome to Sentinels Newsmakers. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, very good afternoon to you all. And I'm very happy to be with you and sharing our thoughts on the flood.
Right.
I'm based in Kaziranga, and yeah, you're telling something?
Yeah. Let me start by asking you what is the status today? What is the update from the national park today? How is the situation?
So flood is receding at this moment, but park is still underwater. Maybe 60-70% of water or percent of the park is still underwater, and animals are having some problems because of the shortage of food, most likely. Because as this flood it's quite a bit long, and probably a month back in the 26th or 27th of June, the flood has started, and today it is more than 1 month. So more than 1 month, the park is under water, and definitely animals are suffering.
Right. So what are the steps being taken from the various organizations present there, the authorities also, the state government? What is being done?
So, so flood definitely is a natural phenomena in Assam, and particularly for Kaziranga, we definitely need flood. And flood is the Kaziranga is a floodplain ecosystem, and for a floodplain ecosystem, flood is our backbone. It increases the productivity, it brings nutrients, and basically it rejuvenates the park. So if we want rhinos, swam there, water buffaloes, etc. in Kaziranga, and we definitely need flood. Without flood, Kaziranga will become a forest, big forest, and woodland. So in woodland or big forest, you will not get all sorts of animals. So that's why the flood is a very much necessity in the park. But big flood is a problem for a park. Earlier we used to get big flood in once in 10 years, one in 8 years. But these days we do get big flood in every year. So since 2016, we are get big flood in every year almost, except the year 2018. 18 we didn't have any big flood, but 16, 17, 19, and 20. So approximately say, almost 4 years back to back big flood we have. And big flood is of course a concern, because then the animals has problem. But animals are surviving in medium or short flood or in flood in Kaziranga for thousands of years probably. See, the main problem is when the flood water enters the park, the animal moves towards the natural highlands, and Karbi Anglong is the natural highland for Kaziranga. So it's basically it's a one landscape. The boundary of Kaziranga has defined by us. Us means we the human beings for various administrative controls. But for the animals, the whole landscape is their habitat. So when the flood water enters, they goes to the high grounds. When flood water recedes, they goes back to the grasslands and wetlands again. So now the problem lies, and we have blocked their natural movement path from the park to the highlands. So that's the major problem. And we have the busy highways, and I won't say that highway that this highway is not needed. Definitely, this is the lifeline of the state, and it connects the eastern part of the state to the central and western part of the state. So this is of course, as a very important and lifeline. But what we do during the flood, with the help of the various NGOs, and the park authority takes the lead, and we try to give safe passage to
Hmm.
all these animals toward the high grounds. And there
Yeah.
we need cooperation from the general public.
Right.
And what we
Right.
do in Kaziranga at this moment, we have nine animal corridors. And but
Hmm.
during flood, the whole stretch from Jaklavanda to Bogakar has become a corridor. So for obvious reasons, because animals they do, especially during the flood, they take all possible routes to escape
Yeah.
from the flood. So
Right.
we general public, we need to cooperate with
Hmm.
this park authority and all these local people, all these NGOs to give
Yeah.
safe passage, especially to the wild animals when they migrate to the national highlands.
Yes, in fact, we saw that rhino who was exhausted and was resting by the roadside, and that video actually had gone viral. Those photographs, the
Yeah,
video
so
we
that
showed just a while
rhino
back.
was resting exactly in an animal corridor that day.
Yes, that
This
yes,
rhino
that
was
picture.
taking rest exactly in an animal corridor, but unfortunately that highway is in between.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and the picture is up there for our viewers to see one more time. That there's the rhino resting by the roadside. In fact, that's the national highway that trespasses, that crosses through Kaziranga, which is now posing a lot of threat to our wildlife. Like Dr. Borman has pointed out, most of us, we really find it very difficult to even stop for a single minute to allow these animals to cross over. I think we the people, really need to learn to respect our animals, our wildlife, so that they can also coexist with us. So, in fact, I guess, Dr. Burman, this rhino later on passed away. Yeah, that is what we heard actually. We saw some tweets from the Kaziranga authorities. Apparently, the rhino was old too. So,
Yeah, this rhino, a little old rhino, and
yeah.
then we understood that rhino was exhausted because it had
Mhm.
to swim away a long stretch of water, and then finally took rest in the national highway. And we
Yes,
were guarding that rhino for 3 4 days, but probably
right.
after 4 days it decided to go back to the park again,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
we did not try to intervene
Right.
in this thing because it's a natural phenomenon, and we
Yes.
should not intervene in a natural phenomena. It's a old rhino, and flood
Mm.
is also a natural control in wild animals. So if the only
Mm.
strongest will survive. So this was obviously a old rhino, and it passed away after 4 or 5 days. And obviously flood is a cause for that, but obviously it was an old rhino, and that was quite natural.
Right. Oh, these are the pictures of the rhino there in floodwater. Rhinos munching away happily. Uh, Lovely, happy pictures, in fact, of
Yeah.
the of rhinos in the park. So we would love to see more such happy pictures, in fact. And Dr. Burman, like you said, that floods are necessary, but then it's also life threatening. So how do you actually strike a balance?
See, as already mentioned, the flood is a necessary evil for us. So
Yes.
without flood,
Mm,
there
mm,
will be no Kaziranga in future. So if God
mm,
decides tomorrow, they,
mm,
okay, I'll
mm,
not send flood to Kaziranga, then we will not
mm,
have rhinos, we will not have swamp there, we will not have
mm,
many, Kaziranga will die. But
mm,
as I said, that big flood is a cause of concern, and during big flood, as I have already mentioned that
mm,
we need to clear those corridors, animal corridors, so that
mm,
animal can go to the national highlands. But past couple of years, Park Authority has has also built some artificial highlands, and in the park, probably 33 artificial highland has been built inside the park. Basically, these are all earthen mount at slightly higher from the flood level, and
mm,
animals do take shelters. And maybe
mm,
because of that, in last couple of years, we have not got the mortality of the animal has gone down, because we have seen animals are using those highlands, but too much silence
right.
is also not good. I
Okay.
must say that
Okay.
artificial, because we should not intervene much in a natural ecosystem. The 33 highlands is perfectly fine. Probably at this moment, animals are using that, but we need to do a study if we need to, if we plan to build some more islands in the park.
Okay, so going forward, what do you think? I mean, what are the solutions? Of course, what about the national highway? Are there talks with the National Highway Authority, the state government, and the central government, the Environment Ministry also? How do we save our wildlife, and how do we educate our people? Also, poaching is another big issue there in Kaziranga.
Say, I'll start with that highway issue. See,
Yes,
we cannot stop development. As I said, this national highway is a lifeline for the state. It
right.
connects the eastern part of the state to the central or western part of the state. If we close this highway for even for a couple of hours, so
Mm-hmm.
people definitely will suffer. Our development agenda will suffer. So probably the best compromise would be, let us have an elevated portion of this highway
Mm-hmm.
in this park, because this is quite possible, because many countries like Netherlands, Singapore, they are doing
Yes.
it. An animal can easily cross below the elevated highway, and probably that would be a permanent solution to this situation. And as I said, we cannot stop flood, and
Mm-hmm.
flood is a natural phenomenon. As I said, that we
Yes.
need flood, but at the same time we need also this highway. So, and
Mm-hmm.
probably the elevated highway in the Kaziranga portion, and last couple government has also asked certain agencies to do a detailed project report on this thing. It is in the card, so it is in the discussion. Probably this elevated highway in the
Yes.
Kaziranga stretch would be a permanent solution to this to this problem, and definitely animal will have enough space to, and enough right of passage or free passage to
Yes.
go to the natural highlands below this
Mm,
elevated portion of this park. Because anyway,
mm,
animals are using those passages right now. We are just
right.
blocking it through these busy highways or various development projects.
Recently, we saw ministers visiting the park, taking stock of the flood situation there. We had State Finance, Health, and Education Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma also visiting Kaziranga National Park. So, any discussions? What was the outcome? Those are the visuals, viewers, of the minister's recent visit to the Kaziranga National Park. He was there to take stock of the floods in the park. Mm, Dr. Burman, any discussions there, any concrete decisions came out of the minister's visit?
I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, our Honorable Chief Minister, sir, and our
Mm,
Honorable Finance Minister and Health Minister for their visit during this tough time in the Kaziranga. And when they come and discuss with us, we get encouraged, we boost up,
mm,
and that's how the team Kaziranga work. And this is a critical time, and in this critical time, we must both of them has visited.
yeah.
I know both of them are very busy because we are running a very critical situation at this moment due to
Yes.
COVID-5,
Yes.
and they took time out and they could visit and meet people inside the
Mm,
park and interact with the people, and we get encouraged in such move, and
mm,
definitely, and they we did have certain discussion with them, and we are
right.
following them, and then park authority was very happy,
Mhm.
and we especially the NGOs and the local people were very happy, so that they came and visited us during this critical time.
Right. Dr. Burman, since you are part of the, conservation rehabilitation work that is going on there, you have been doing all of those. You people also rescue so many animals. Would like to hear from you one of those, instances which has left a mark in you.
Uh, I'll just in 10 second I will
Mhm.
tell you this CWRC, Center for Wildlife Rehabilitation and Conservation, is a joint setup of Assam Forest Department, Wildlife Trust of India, and IFA, International Fund for Animal Welfare,
Viewers, those
and
are
we started.
visuals. Sorry, Dr. Burman, we are actually showing the visuals of Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal, Kamakhya Tasa MP, all of them visiting the Kaziranga Park earlier this month.
This this
Yes,
is this
Dr.
is
Barman.
my center. This is CWRC. They
All
came to
right.
my center.
Okay. All right. All right. Just the right time we brought the visuals up. Yes, Dr.
Yeah,
Barman, please continue.
yeah.
Would you like to explain these visuals to our viewers? I mean, the feeding, how it happens, how you all take care of the
Yeah, yeah,
rhinos?
yeah, yeah. So these are the visuals of my facility and
Mm-hmm.
CWRC. As I said, CWRC we started in 2002, and almost
Right.
20 years we are rescuing animals in and
Mm-hmm.
around Kaziranga, and in last 18 19 years we have rescued approximately 6,500 animals
Mm-hmm.
in this landscape, and about 4,500 animals has gone back to the wild after getting proper treatment and care. And
Okay.
particularly in this flood, CWC has rescued approximately 90 animals, and six out of that 60 animals has gone back to the wild. But with the help of Park Authority and many other NGOs, the Park Authority this time, this particular flood has rescued 163 animals, and
Mm.
out of that 140 animals could be released back to the wild. So I take this opportunity to thank you all local people and fellow NGOs, and especially the frontline staff of Kaziranga Park Authority for saving animals and taking care of them.
Right. So, yes, this brings me to the question of the role that local people are already playing and how better can they help all of you, the park authorities also, in, saving or protecting our animals.
See, I'll till 2010 or 2011, I would say, the local people or many people they used to go and seize animals during the flood
Mm,
and capture them, and probably they thought that that is rescue, and their
mhm,
intention is very good, but they do not
mm,
know, they do not knew that time that seizing
mm,
an animal and capturing them ultimately harms that animal. Since 2010-11 we have been going to those villages or on the local people with the help of Park Authority, what to do and what not to do when they see
yeah.
a wild animals in their backyard. Because
Mm,
during the flood, the animal migrates from the park and they take shelter in all those high grounds. So it may be in somebody's house, in somebody's backyards, and somebody's kitchen. So, like last year,
mm,
a tiger was sleeping in somebody's
yes,
bed, and this
yes,
year, one tiger was taking rest in somebody's kitchen. So,
right.
I'll just give you example of this year tiger rescue incident. In the
Mhm,
evening, when the owner of this house went
mm,
to his kitchen and saw a tiger is quietly resting inside his kitchen, he
mhm,
quietly closed the door of this kitchen and informed us, and
mm,
we were in the scene within 10-15 minutes because we were very nearby, our rescue team was very nearby, and because it was dark in the evening, and we decided not to intervene during the night
okay,
because it
right.
would not only endanger the life of a human, it will also
Mm,
endanger the life of the animal, because
mm,
water is everywhere. We cannot chemically capture an animal. We should not actually chemically capture an
right.
animal unless and until it is very urgent in the
Mhm,
night. So we requested the house owners, can you leave
yeah.
this house for tonight and take shelter somewhere? And they
Mm,
readily agreed. There is elderly woman in that family, and
mhm,
five or six of the members of that family. They readily moved from the house and they took shelter in a nearby place. And
mhm,
morning we were in the scene. We tried to give a safe passage to the animals, and thank for the cooperation of the local people again, I would
mm,
say, and thanks that the house owner specifically, he is Mr. Provin Bora, and and with their cooperation we could chemically capture the animal, and for 24 hours we could release back to the wild again. See, we
right.
rescued many animals in many parts of the state, even we were rescuing animals in other states of the country, but I
Mm,
never saw this cooperation in other states. Even cooperation of people in rescuing situation in Kaziranga is far better than the other areas of the state. So because of their cooperation, we could save this tiger
yeah.
this time, and also probably that nothing happened to the people, because
Mm,
anything could
mm,
happen
mm,
when
mm,
we disturb a tiger taking rest in
Right.
somebody's kitchen.
Right, right, absolutely. Yes, the local people's cooperation and help is very much necessary in a place like Kaziranga. Now, staying on with the issue of humans' presence in such areas, we often report, we often have been seeing all those news stories coming out from different parts of Karbi Anglong and other areas of Assam. The elephant man elephant or man and animal conflict. Now, what are the steps being taken? Because I believe there's a lot of livelihood issues also that is there. Then the human habitation expanding and intruding into wildlife spaces. So, what are the steps being taken there?
See, uh, human elephant conflict situation is a little bit complex than
Mhm.
the conflict due to the other animals. See,
Okay.
elephant is a very big animal, so it needs to eat big. So and again,
Hmm.
it's migrate from place to place. We cannot confine elephants in a single area. If we feel that we can confine elephants in a single area, then we are wrong. So they take natural migration. So they goes from one place to one place to one place and come back to the original place maybe after 1 month or 2 months. They also know if the elephants spend certain time in a single place, they destroy or they finish the food in that area, and they give sufficient time to regrow their fodders in that particular, and by that time only they come back. And
Hmm.
during this 1 month's time before they come back to their original area, they need to spend their time in various things. So in elephants also, we are blocking their natural migratory path. and
Right.
and 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 elephants, it's not a deer or it's a tiger. If they find anything in their path, they will just
Hmm.
break. So in over the years, in last 20 years or 30 years, and then the reserve forest, especially where the animal moves during in certain period of time, are badly degraded, and they have their habitats are being shrink, and their corridors are
Yeah.
getting disconnected. And because of all these things, the situation of human elephant conflict situation is going up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
And many people
Yeah.
feel that we have to coexist with animals,
Mm.
sorry, that elephants. But
Mm.
we can coexist in a village, but we cannot coexist with elephant in our bedroom. So what
Right.
will happen? So we're building our houses in elephant's bedroom. So
Hmm.
definitely they will not allow us to have our house in
Right.
their bedroom. Like we cannot
Yes.
share our bedroom with any other
Yes.
species or even any other people. The elephant also
Hmm.
will not allow uh, their bedroom
Ah,
with us. So that's what's happening. And for so we have to clear all those elephant corridors. In Assam, we have
hmm.
certain notified elephant corridors, and we have to clear those elephant corridors. And if we clear those elephant corridors, if we and then only probability human elephant conflict situation will go down to the
Right.
a certain extent.
Okay. Now, going back to the Kaziranga National Highway issue and the flooding issue. So, what are the steps being taken now? Till we really come up with an elevated corridor or stuff like that for the traffic movement and stuff, all of those. So, now what are the steps being taken so that animals can cross over easily?
So during the flood time, the park authority regulates the movement of vehicle in the stress of Kaziranga. So basically, in the peak flood time, uh, the park authority issues time cards
Hmm.
to the drivers of all vehicles. So there is a speed limit of 40 kilometers. Any driver should not drive more than 40 kilometers. Basically, the idea is if they see any animals crossing the highway, they should be able to brake their vehicle. And that's just it.
Pull their brakes. Yeah.
But
Pull their
during the
brakes. Yeah.
peak time, say
Mhm.
peak 1 or 2 days, we also regulate. We stop those vehicles for certain period of time. Say half an hour, we stop the vehicles and we allow animals to cross during the half an hour. Then next half an hour, we allow vehicle to move. and we block the animal spots during that half an hour time. But in this point, I would like to request our all citizens here, please cooperate with the park
mm,
authority during this peak flood time, because I have also met certain people who proudly says that Kaziranga is ours, but they don't have time, they don't have even 1 minute to stop. They don't have 1 minute for the animals, because this flood only I interacted with one gentleman. He said, I'm in a hurry. I have to reach
mm,
so and so place by this time. I said, okay, you will reach. But this is a big flood. We are blocking this highway for 15 minutes. Just you have to give us
yeah,
15 minutes time so that animal can cross this river. He said, no, no, no. I'm not concerned about all this thing. I have to reach by this way. Anyway, later I
yeah,
found that he was not in a hurry, but he just do not want to give time. But then you do not block ambulance or other emergency
yes,
cases. But if
mm,
we are not in a real hurry, please give this 10-15 minutes time at least. If we feel that Kaziranga is ours, if we feel that
yes.
rhino is ours.
Yes, and actually we should feel for our animals. I mean, they are living beings too, and they have equal right to this world, to this
Exactly,
universe, as you and I do. So we have to
exactly.
learn to respect every other living being. All right. Now, as far as this poaching issue is concerned, I believe I mean, though I would like to believe that the number has gone down marginally, maybe, but the problem still remains. So, what are the steps being taken as to address poaching?
See, with the Kaziranga Park Authority and with the support of the fellow villagers and all communities, the poaching has gone down substantially. And
Okay.
probably almost 13 or 14 months, there is zero poaching in Kaziranga. And
Oh,
this year, probably after 13 or 14, probably after 17 months, if I'm not
mm,
wrong, there is probably one case of poaching happened. See, poaching is an international organized war. So
yes.
the actual poachers, I would say, actual poachers are not those who go and just shoot those animals. Actual
Mm,
poachers are sitting somewhere in Manipur
right.
or in China or Myanmar or Vietnam,
Mm,
and they are pouring money to these poor villagers
mm, mm,
in Karbi Angalam or in and around Kaziranga, and then they are basically these I don't call these actual people who goes with the gun
yeah,
and kill the animals are poachers. Poachers are sitting somewhere else. So
right.
with the help of the Assam police and park authorities is doing their best job and
Mm-hmm.
control poaching up to an extent. Uh, but I would like to say that thank in this again. I would like to
Mm,
thank the local people again, because the
yeah,
poachers cannot enter the park without the knowledge of the local people. So
yes.
the local people are now are standing like a hard wall in between the poachers and the rhinos. So that's why the
Mm.
poaching has gone down substantially.
Very, that's really nice to hear that the local people are playing such a significant role. In fact, the role that each one of us should play to save our animals, our rhinos, and our wildlife and the environment. So, finally, how hopeful are you? Of course, we do understand that we need the floods, but we also have to save our animals. So, how hopeful are you in the coming days that we will find a solution to this? And the number of deaths due to floods, due to speeding vehicles,
See, I
can
am very
come
much
down.
I am very much helpful, and even this flood, people are very much cooperative with us, except one or
Mhm.
two cases. I like to give one example in this program.
Yeah.
I told this issue to the 2 3 days back also. Few days back, I was traveling in Kaziranga in the evening time, and my vehicle is well-known vehicle here because everybody knows my vehicle. So one
Yes.
gentleman, because it was evening time and people probably cannot see my vehicle, and one, elderly gentleman, he was
Mm,
stopping traffic in the road
mm,
alone, and
mm,
and and suddenly I saw a elderly people. He was stopping traffic in the road. I thought
mm.
that probably hog deers are crossing, or maybe elephants are
Yeah.
crossing. But
Yeah.
surprisingly, I saw the person is guarding a snake. A, a,
Oh.
a a small snake was crossing the road, and he
Oh,
was he was stopping the whole traffic in the vehicle. So that much cooperation, that much affection we do have from the local people. So till we get these people in and around Kaziranga, Kaziranga is safe.
lovely, lovely. On that very positive note, thank you so much for joining me today on Sentinels Newsmakers. May
Thank you.
we be able to save our rhinos, our wildlife, and I'm sure while we keep talking about Kaziranga, we do not forget about our other national parks and sanctuaries that Assam has. We should not forget about Manas Tiger Reserve, about
Exactly.
Povitora, about Dihing Patkai, about Saleki Reserve Forest. Let environment of Assam really flourish and continue, all our wildlife and animals continue to live a glorious life. Thank you so much, Dr. Barman, one more time, and keep up the
Thank you.
good work
Thank
that
you.
all of you are doing. And really salute all the local people of Kaziranga and all our other parks across Assam. Thank you, viewers, for joining me today. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Namaskar.
Thank you.